Hello, lovely people. Today I am here with Julia Shapiro. She is the CEO of Hire and Esquire, and she is going to reveal to you how you can work less while growing your firm. Hi, I'm Emily LaRouche. Are you ready to make the journey from lawyer to entrepreneur? Every week I'm sitting down with people who have mastered the art of running a business and want to share with you the lessons they've learned along the way. Join me as we experience the highs, the lows, and everything in between as we learn, share, and grow together. Welcome to Share the Love. Thank you so much for being here today, Julia.
Thank you so much for having me on the show.
So tell our viewers a little bit about what Hire and Esquire does.
So Hire and Esquire is, the best way to think about it is online dating meets legal staffing. So we help law firms and in-house legal departments connect with an on-demand workforce over a technology platform. And this allows you to staff up and staff down really quickly. And we also use technology and things like predictive behavioral analytics to make sure you have the right fit for your firm.
And so you started out in law school, ready to be a crusader, right? Wanting to do good in the world, and you ended up an entrepreneur. How did disaster strike and cause you to go on this entrepreneurial journey?
Well, it was very much by accident. I have sometimes people out of college or lawyers coming to me and they're putting together their 10 and 20-year plans and they want to know how I got on this path. And I was not that organized or that focused when I was in college or law school. And I just really liked being a lawyer and was really excited to be a lawyer and was just going to practice law. So this was completely an accident. I didn't expect to be doing this. I ended up working at a large commercial litigation firm and I really enjoyed the practice of law. I love the people that I work with. And as I was doing this, I noticed that a large part of our workforce in the law firm I was working in was contingent. And there were 200 contractors at our law firm at any given time. And I was actually working at this firm as a contractor, and I was there for over 3 years, which is longer than a lot of associates were there. And I started to help with the staffing process and become more ingrained in the firm. And that's when I realized how horrible and archaic the process was, and how it was really bad for the firms, and it was really bad for the attorneys. And I saw an amazing opportunity to use technology to make this process better and faster for everybody involved. And then I decided to eventually leave my job as a lawyer to build it full time.
Wonderful. Can you share, I know you've done a lot of research on how to predict success within applicants, which I think is really interesting because one of the things that most business owners I talk to, the number one problem is finding the right people and then keeping them engaged. So what are some of the things that you found help predict success?
So I can't take credit for this. We have a wonderful behavioral psychologist on staff, and he is trained in industrial psychology, which is a lot less mushy than some of the personality tests of yesteryear. It's very research-driven and outcomes-based. And actually, if you do brain scans on people, the areas that are active in their brain will often relate to personality traits you can test for through industrial psychology. So what we found based on industry research in the legal industry as well as industrial psychology is there are a few traits that are very predictive to measure for successful outcomes as a lawyer. So we have developed proprietary tests within our platform to help measure those personality traits and help find where people will be the most successful. And what's really amazing about doing this over a technology platform is you can really validate these things in a way you can't in a manual recruiting process. So, for instance, somebody can say they're really detail-oriented in a self-assessment, and their references, which we also check, we ask them questions around gauging whether the person's detail-oriented. Then our technology can also scan their resume and see if the bullets are lined up and the paragraphs are lined up the right way. So that's an example. We have a lot of examples like that, but when you're using a platform, you can really help you get a full picture of the candidate and get a full picture of your clients and then see where people fit the best together. Because even though there are skills that are indicators of success in law, some skills are more important in other positions. So you might want to have certain personality traits stronger when working with a trial law firm or a plaintiff's firm than you do with somebody doing transaction work. So what we're eventually building out too is a way to share with candidates where their strengths and weaknesses are and what they might want to work on and develop, and also showing them which jobs are recommended for them that really help them harness their strengths.
That sounds like a tool that all students should take as well. They want to go into law. Are you really a good fit for that kind of law?
Yes. And I think that this will continue to develop. I don't know if you, when you were in middle school and high school, if they ever gave you those career tests.
Right.
A bunch of bubbles, and then you got everything from like, it told you that you should both be a neurosurgeon and a manicurist.
Right.
I think that there is going to be more tests like that, and they're going to continue to get more accurate. And it's not too different if you look in foreign countries, and specifically this happened a lot under communism, where people were chosen very young for where they showed aptitude. So if somebody showed aptitude as a gymnast or a ballerina very young, they were put on that track. Even in some countries, they look for people who were very good at science, and they're picked for the CIA and defense positions, computer positions very early and groomed. So I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. People have to find their own path and what makes them happy. But I do think there is something in people finding where their strengths are and finding that intersection of their strengths and what makes them happy.
Oh, absolutely. I agree with that. I'd love to see kids finding, because it seems like, you go to school and you're told doctor, lawyer, dentist, these are the major things. You're not told there's a huge spectrum of things that you might be good at and passionate about.
And hopefully that will change, because those of us who are practicing law now are probably in our late 20s and late 20s through early 40s and beyond. We were very much still groomed through school for more of a post-industrial model. So not necessarily the technology revolution and the new flexible workforce that really kicked in at the turn of the millennium. So I think that hopefully schools will adjust over time. It takes longer, but I think we were still more in the mindset of getting a job, although that was changing as we exited school. And I know I'm a millennial. We have quite a few millennials on our team, and I see a very different way that we look at work in defined positions and having a defined role and a defined career path than people 10 or 15 or 20 years older than us.
Right. And I'm not a millennial, but I'm seeing I hire a lot of millennials, and I see that it's not that they don't want to work. It's that a millennial needs to feel passionate about what they're doing. They need to feel like there's some cause behind it, that they're doing good, and that it supports their life and their lifestyle.
And I think people are very much shaped by their eras and the structures around them. So I don't think there's something inherently different about millennials than there is about people, my parents' generation, people born in the 50s, 60s, 70s. I think it's that millennials, we expect to spend a lot of our life at work and connected to work. So when you work 40 hours a week and then you got to go home and decompress and have your weekends, you probably put a different emphasis on work and then outside of work. When you look at work as being your entire life, which it does seep into all areas of life with smartphones and expectations, then you probably have to find more meaning from it than you do if it's only 40 hours a week and you can find meaning outside of work. And also, people know this is somewhat the way of the new economy. You constantly have to make yourself flexible and adaptable, and the economy will change, jobs will change. So people aren't thinking that I have to set myself up for this one job and graduate with a pension and a gold watch. So that's the other way that people's thinking have evolved. How do I have a job that sets me up for the future, because I know I don't have security with one company. So I don't think that there's every generation complains about the one after them, I've noticed. Mm-hmm. And maybe I'm biased, but I really like working with millennials. I also really like working with people on our team who are, Gen X and older. And I like working with all of them, and I think they all bring different things to the table. I think everyone, though, is very much shaped by, the expectations that they had and what they thought the world was going to look like when they graduated, when they were in high school, college, and grad school.
Absolutely. And I think growing up in my generation, Gen Xers were told you can be anything, you can do anything, you can have anything. But what we weren't told is that you might have to buck the traditional models to get there. And so it's created this discontent, because you think I have to go in and work my 40 hours and stay at a job, like you said, till I get my pension, but I'm not feeling satisfied. So the millennials, I think, have done a good job of bridging that gap and saying, no, let's get creative. There's a way to make this happen. Which brings me to my next question for you is, I have a ton of solo attorney clients, and if they take a vacation, they're out of the office, there's nobody there. If they get an influx of business, a bunch of new clients, they have no resource to help them, and they either have to turn away business, don't go on vacations. And I love your company because I think it's such a great resource. And can you share how people can have a better work-life balance while still growing their firm?
And we have so many small firms that are using Hire and Esquire for exactly that. And I think that it's a very smart business model, and there's a right way to do it and a wrong way to do it. So I would very much encourage other solo firms to do what our current clients do, which is, they build a bench, they work with a few contractors, and they see who they're comfortable with. And then once they've worked with somebody for a couple weeks or a couple months, and there tends to be a lot of long-term ongoing relationships in our platform, we have people that have worked with the same contractors off and on as necessary for 2 to 3 years. We had one client being a law firm client, who the partner was on maternity leave, and she trusted her contractor that she'd been working with to take over her clients and caseload for a period while she was gone, and she was obviously still in contact with them as needed, but it lets people take vacations, it lets people take leave. So I would really encourage people who want more bandwidth and still want to keep growing their firm to look into the option of contractors, but be very smart about it. It's not, I'm leaving for vacation tomorrow and I'm giving the keys to the store to this person an hour ago. We do a really good job of vetting people, but there still needs to be that rapport and working relationship built. And our system is very much built for people to build longer-term relationships through our platform, and to set their bench of people that they trust and build that bench and have easy contact with them so that somebody's always available when they go on vacation or when they have a bunch of new cases come in.
And so your contractors, they might be a contractor for a law firm or an in-house legal department, but they're not contractors for you, right? They're your actual employees?
Yes. So we do have a couple of different products. We do have the independent contractor product where the person is a contractor, a full-on contractor, 1099. We handle the 1099s and we provide some professional liability insurance when they work through our system. But generally, these are attorneys that have their own firm set up, and it's, I need a local counsel in Reno, Nevada, or I need a local counsel in somewhere in Wyoming. And so that tends to be the full-on contractor. The majority of our revenue and clients are the employees of our firm, of Hire and Esquire. So we provide, we take care of payroll, we provide benefits, and also comprehensive professional liability insurance, just as you would have if somebody was on your payroll. So that option is good for, we all know as lawyers about the employee classification laws, and a lot of marketplace companies like Uber and Instacart and Handy all got in trouble for having contractors and people who are really looking for like full-time employees. So if somebody's working for you semi-regularly and you're kind of supervising their work, they have to be an employee. So that's where we come in and we provide that third-party payroll service and make sure you're in compliance and that you don't have to worry about having people coming on and off your payroll and dealing with all of the hurdles that go along with that, both state, local, and regulatory.
That is awesome. And are you noticing a trend, or is it still, what do you see as far as attorneys, the contractors through Hire and Esquire working in office with other attorneys and wanting to work remotely? Do you see any trends in that area?
I would say particularly for our solos, we're majority remote work. We do have quite a few big law clients and Fortune 1000 legal departments. And those roles, the attorneys tend to be going into the office and being a part of the legal team. But for our solos, we find that they're really excited to do a little bit of geographic arbitrage. So you might have a former big law partner in New York or DC or Boston who left their law firm, brought clients with them, brought some of their staff with them, but they're used to having that person who's also been trained up in the AMLaw 200. So they're very excited to work with somebody who maybe for family or other reasons moved to the Midwest or Kansas or Florida or Austin, Texas, and they can work with this person remotely. People are usually more flexible. If you don't know exactly, if you have an associate in your office in New York or Boston, they usually need constant steady work and a pretty high salary just to pay rent in those markets. And then you have a remote worker who is in a lower cost market and is happy, they're flexible 10, 20 hours a week of work, and they may have a couple other clients they can also service remotely. So we definitely see more remote work in the solos, especially those who are very excited about getting a really high caliber quality of attorney in a lower cost market.
Yeah, and I found the same thing for our business, that I'm able to attract really high-level talent. I've got paralegals on my team, criminal justice graduates. It's because I give them flexibility and let them work from home, and they're so happy.
Yes, and I'm sure you see this as well. These freelancers and contractors, they're viewing the firms as their client. Yeah. So it's not like somebody's sitting at a desk, clocking in, clocking out. It's like, this is my client. I'm working remotely. How do I make them happy? How do I make them feel taken care of?
Absolutely. They legitimately feel like part of that firm, part of the team, and they take an ownership, and I think it's a really good model. Awesome. Okay, we're almost done. I have some rapid fire questions for you. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Happiness is?
A chunk of time unscheduled with the possibility of doing anything.
Yes, I love that. The last book you read?
So this is hard rapid fire. I tend to read 3 books at a time.
Wow.
So the one I finished was On the Road by Gloria Steinem. I am currently in the middle of rereading Naked Lunch and a book on changing your brain chemistry, which I recommend lawyers read because it talks about how many people in the criminal justice system actually have some sort of head injury, some sort of brain injury, and how that correlates to criminal behavior. So, great book.
I know that book. Okay, that is a good one. That's a must read. What is the best surprise about running a business?
I think all of the interesting people that you get to meet. You get to meet interesting people that you interview to bring onto your team. For me, interesting lawyers and people in the system, interesting investors, other entrepreneurs. So definitely say the people.
Absolutely. I totally agree. I love meeting new people, and through doing these podcasts and getting out there and running a business, you have to put yourself out there. And most people wouldn't know, but I'm so introverted. But it was like, if you're going to start a business, you have to get out there and talk about it. And it's been such a good experience. So last of all, is that a thing? All right, how can our viewers connect with Hire and Esquire?
You can go to our website at hireandesquire.com and you can sign up right there. We also have in-app chat support if you have any questions. We're also on Twitter. Our handle is at Hire and Esquire. We're on Facebook at Hire and Esquire. And we also have a page on LinkedIn, but that is not quite as interactive.
Perfect. So we'll post all of those links down below. Click on them, visit them, hire them. Thank you so much for being here, Julia.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for watching this episode of Share the Love. Make sure to give us a thumbs up, share, and subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube, and Google Play to get the latest content.